the change on planet Earth has actually nothing to do with our human calendar. It is a cosmic change. It is a galactic change. It is a change that could have been prophesied because it's part of a cycle. And we have entered this amazing portal of opportunity for the Earth to wake up from her sleep, just like Sleeping Beauty. As you know, the story of Sleeping Beauty, the queendom of Sleeping Beauty is also asleep. And so we, humankind, have also been asleep. This sleep was caused mainly by what some people call the fall from grace. But really, it is that the electromagnetic field of the Earth was distorted. And so it was impossible to actually be fully awake and fully conscious. Even the avatars who came here, they had to take on the cloak of unconsciousness even a little bit, because otherwise they couldn't stay here. And so this change that we came here for in this lifetime, we came here to wake up with the Earth. She is still in the process of awakening herself, and that's why we human beings are awakening with her. It is all interconnected. This is a process of nature. And I know there are many different stories how people perceive this change, and there's many ways to describe it. The only way I can offer it is that the cosmic being, the cosmic I am, the cosmic mother nature, with her body being made of nature herself, she is the one really shifting, changing. And within the cosmos, we can see so many different things. We can obviously see that which we perceive as physical, so like the galaxies. And in our world, that's a very big deal, the galaxy being really our mother. And that's why we call her Milky Way, kind of coming from the concept of Hathor as the mother of mothers, giving us milk. And that's why some people call her a cow being. But this is beyond anything that we could actually fully comprehend at this point. And that's what we are waking up to. We are waking up to this amazing cosmic knowledge. Cosmic, galactic, universal, but also, in our case, planetary. The connection between our body and the body of the Earth. And for me, I've learned all of this through the interactions with Divine Mother and her body. And it is not reserved for just one of us, many of us. It is actually reserved, kind of, or offered to all of us. And that's the awakening. When we actually attune our physicality with all the aspects within us, with all the systems within us, to the body of cosmos, which includes the Earth, we suddenly get this wisdom. And it is really about attunement. How do we resonate with the Earth? And as simple as it sounds, I find the biggest knowledge comes simply from being outside in nature, barefoot, attuning our own rhythms to her, because then she can talk back to us and we understand what she's saying in a language that actually would surprise you, can often even be your own language, like, because she obviously knows all the languages. So she can, if you are clairaudient, she can talk to you in your language. If you are clairsentient, you will feel her. If you are clairvoyant, you will see her. And again, all of this is coming online for us. So the big picture that I see from what she shows me and has been showing me is a pretty big picture. So I always say the mystery is very big, and it's just so big that it's really hard to wrap the human mind around it. But that's okay. Every day we get a little bit more and more of information. And it is not so much about information, because that would be entertaining the mind. And yet, of course, I understand that having information can be useful. But it's actually about one thing. Can we fall in love with life again? And if we just ponder upon it, what that means, it's again very simple. And the beauty of all of this is simplicity. I find that as human beings, we try to make things complicated in the past, and we created all these different systems to do something very simple. And this is so simple that it really is mind-blowing. It is. Here is nature all around us. And can we connect to her? And when we connect to her, can we feel the love? like real love, like feeling that like tears of joy are just pouring down because you're so happy to be. And to be alive doesn't mean to be here right now in a body, because we are always alive, no matter where we go after we leave this body and maybe take it with us in a certain way. So there is no moment when we are actually dead. There are beings in this cosmos who disconnect from life force, but even if they do it for 10 million years, they actually still exist. They just really cannot thrive. So I would call those beings dead, because they are not really receiving life force, and yet one day they will also wake up too. So this adventure of cosmos, when you see it, it's amazing. Of course, it is the most incredible creation. There is nothing else, right, outside of it. It's ever expanding into the void. It's perpetual because there are zillions of beings perpetuating it. You and me are tiny little beings here right now perpetuating creation. And creation, she tells me, when I first started meeting her and she would like appear in the bedroom at night and she would kind of float around, or, you know, she always finds her ways to meet you, then she wanted to be called Goddess Life with a capital L. And so if you have 33 codes, the book of 33 codes, then you know there is a lot of mention of the goddess life, or life with a capital L. And the way she explained it is that the little lives that we lead here or somewhere else, they are little adventures that we sign up for. They come and go. I like Sadhguru calls it that we are just pop-ups. So we pop up and we pop out, I guess. And that's very much true. And it's not that it's meaningless. It definitely has meaning. But since we are eternal, then the small life with a small L is a little different from the life with a capital L. And I like calling her Goddess Life. And she loves it too, because she always says, you know, in this world, we created religions, and some religions were for this person, not for that person, because they didn't want the names, right? Like, let's say some people didn't like Jesus, or believing in Jesus, didn't believe in Jesus. And yet even our brother Jesus, father Jesus, uncle Jesus, he actually represented that life with a capital L, goddess life, just like you do. She is in all of us. And because she's in all of us, we say she's the mother of all. And so she didn't want to limit herself to something like even the green Tara, or, you know, Adi Shakti or Shekinah or Sophia. That's nice. But once we give her a label, we limit her. And that's the whole thing with labels and language. And that's why there are dimensions why language is not really useful, because it's more about just having this consciousness that can actually be telepathic with all things without labels. So the labels. So if I tell you Adi Shakti, everybody will probably imagine this beautiful Indian goddess. But when you say Goddess Life with a capital L, probably the goddess still kind of makes us feel like there is a body to her that looks kind of like a goddess. But what about if we take away even the goddess and we just call her life? And that's pretty much the lessons she's been teaching us, so that we move beyond limitations of our own mind and we can really unify all things within us. And this is very important. The way that this will really play out here on planet Earth, it's going to be the greatest thing that has ever happened since the beginning of things on planet Earth. And why? The 22nd of February is an important cosmic event. And we will have, obviously, thousands, if not millions of people working together on different activities of light. I believe our group mainly will be working with Matthias, who is in Egypt, with many groups. And what we are doing is exactly what Goddess Life would like us to do. We are moving beyond distorted duality. And the number one thing is that, of course, we have been distorted too, right? We all know. If anyone has ever felt a negative emotion, had negative thoughts, felt judgment, dislike, that all is unconsciousness within us. And without any judgment, of course, we don't want to be judging. Judging unconsciousness doesn't lead to anything, but recognizing it leads to everything. When we recognize unconsciousness, we make it conscious. That's the beauty of the tree of life. When we look into our own, what we would call darkness, and we bring it up into the light of consciousness, we bring it into the light of the crown of the tree of life. And this is what this all has been about, really. I would say, some people blame the Anunnaki or the Greys, but let's think of it as this amazing experiment of unconsciousness and consciousness, maybe by design, maybe not, it doesn't even matter. But what it comes down to is, are we able to end distorted duality within our own being? This invitation is here, and that will be basically what 22nd of February will be all about. Through our collective intent, we come together, and it doesn't matter who you're working with on the 22nd, or if you're working alone, you are not alone ever, right? In the quantum field of the earth. What we are doing, we are actually fulfilling our purpose in loving Goddess life. And once again, she is the cosmic mother. Within her, we have the galaxies, the universes. And when her offspring, no matter how small, actually has a collective intent of love, they really create a quantum leap. And we just had a solar flare in this moment. That's very cool. So in her body is the sun, in her body is the galaxy, in her body is the earth, in her body are the Pleiades, the Arcturus, Sirius, all of it is in her body. So she uses her own body to evolve, to heal, to move, to change, to grow, because she's nature, and who understands nature understands the divinity of all things. This is so big, I don't even know how to describe it in human words. It will be through our love for the earth, or the bigger kind of world, for the cosmic mother nature. Within her body are the 5 elemental beings that are cosmic creator beings that create worlds. And the 5 elemental beings is the being of water, is the being of air, is the being of minerals, earth that we call here. It's the being of fire, it's the being of ether. Now, these beings are within the body of this cosmic mother. And I apologize if this sharing is too long, but I know that she really wanted me to say this today. Within her body are these 5 beings. She is the ultimate Deva. Deva is the word we use for a creator, female kind of being. And within her body are all the smaller devas. These are beings of elemental nature, and they belong to the 5 elements. Now, these 5 elements are the builders of form. So those who can see with their third eye, the inner side, the intuitive side, can see devas in all life. Each one of the goddesses that we have had here on planet Earth, in a way, is a deva. Your body is a deva. A tree has a deva. A mountain has a deva. A river has a deva. These are the elemental souls of creation. In a way, the earth, of course, has her own deva. We can call her Gaia. That's what we're familiar with. So all these devas are beings of rainbow light. That's why the rainbow light is so important. It is the creator light. Now, on planet Earth, if you have ever met a true elemental being in nature, it happens. They come and talk. They don't like humans. And I hate to say that, but you can imagine that the world was so abused by humans without any, again, judgment. But we can see, even if we love the world so much, it is possible we pollute it too, right? It's really almost like hard to avoid polluting to some degree, even though if we try really, really hard, we still will be making trash, most of us. We still will be driving cars, we'll still will be flying. Our dirty water still will go into some other water, and so on and so on. Like you can imagine this crime against the mother in this world. And we call it like such dense unconsciousness that actually really hurt the elementals. So I met the elementals. There was the Divine Mother. She came and she introduced me to them. And this was absolutely unbelievable, talking to the elementals, being able to hear. And now I don't like saying bad things, but hearing how much they dislike humanity. And again, to them, every single particle of life is so sacred. Then when they see a civilization that doesn't see the sacredness of all life, they do actually get angry. And we like to think of it as a romantic relationship between elementals and humans. And again, what they told me, I'm just repeating exactly what they said. If they could almost get rid of us, they would do it. But they cannot, because we came to, be here with them. And this is the end of this distorted relationship. Divine Mother, of course, wants all of us to wake up into love, very deep love. And she wants us to prepare for the 22nd of February with our hearts, to show up in love. So, there are a lot of things that we can do in terms of spirituality, but if we don't become more loving, then our spirituality misled us somewhere else. Because some people, I'm just going to say it how it is, become more arrogant with spirituality, and we have the spiritual ego, thinking how awake we are when we are actually more and more asleep, fooling our own being. Our own measurement of consciousness should be, how much do I love? Am I more loving? Do I care more for all things? And that's, up to us personally, right? To decide, am I more loving? Am I kinder? Am I more patient? And all of those great things. That's an expression of consciousness. And then, of course, everything else, like, let's say I mentioned arrogance, is an expression of unconsciousness, feeling superior and all those things. So our spirituality that we have been following here with Divine Mother has led us to a place where hopefully we feel kinder and more compassionate and more loving. And this morning, that's what she spoke about. If we can go out at sunrise, which is an important portal for her, of course, since she is Mother Nature, and if we can open our hearts just the way that the sun is opening the heart to us, if we can just mimic the sun to be like the source, and then love all that is around us. And we've had the term unconditional love. Divine Mother calls it kind of like illumination. Can we illuminate the world with our love? And she will be asking us to really prepare for the 22nd in terms of love. How much love as a feeling can we give into the web of the planet? Now, our team, we made a video in 2020, I believe. We were doing an alignment through Portal in Sedona and received amazing knowledge about how this ascension process will unfold. And in this video, we were given this information of the rainbow body and how for this date that is coming up for us, for the end of distorted duality, the rainbow children that you are will be asked to fully feel the heart and open the heart because of this amazing activity that is taking place around the world. And the elemental beings that we know as Deva, and also the elemental beings, of course, of the 5 elements, will be assisting us. And they will flow their love into us as well, and we will flow our love into them. So as we create this quantum field around the earth that day, it will be all about how much love can we pour into the planetary grid of all things, including the animals, including plants. And so it will be kind of like a day of true love. And that's our journey, to prepare to love. Now, how do we get there? Sometimes we feel a little numb in the heart, and hopefully that's not the case. But if we can really start practicing feeling love, that emanation of the magnetic force. Love is magnetic at its true essence. And it is not a mental thing. It is not like we choose to be in a relationship because, we have reasons. True love, the way that Divine Mother designed it, is a magnetic presence. And that presence will be needed from all of us on the 22nd. So we can practice at sunrise, we can practice walking through nature, telling her we love her. We can practice with animals, with kids, with people, just loving this really magnetic flow. And to a point where really you can feel like, you're about to cry out of joy, just existing and being able to participate in this. So that's the only task we really have, to show up completely in love and really deeply magnetized for the 22nd.